Yo, 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 good people. Welcome to the HerbMan Show. Yo, 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 good people. It's your homie HerbMan, and you back upside the head with another hot banger boogie. Hey, look, go tell somebody your homie HerbMan is on. And if this is your first time tuning in to the HerbMan Show, welcome. Go ahead and hit that logo right at the bottom of your screen. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you never miss what we're bringing to the world, all right? Now, I love you guys, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. So remember, it is always free, you guys, to like, share, and subscribe to these videos, all right? That is your way of letting us know you appreciate the content, all right? So what are we talking about today? It is a very, very good video today, you guys. We're going to be talking about Mary Jane, all right, and how we're able to understand this plant for what it's worth. Okay, now talking about Mary Jane or marijuana, we all know about it, we've all heard about it, we all see the uptick on the science behind it now, and all this stuff is starting to roll out about how great it is. And we've been knowing about the greatness of this particular plant for millions of years, thousands of years even, all right? When it all first started out, cannabis was used as a medicinal herb, okay? And so it won't be anything different than any other herbs that we're talking about today. It is how you're able to utilize this particular herb and get out the medicinal properties out of it, all right? And so over the last 30 years, there have been science to prove how strong and how efficient and the efficacy of marijuana has been, okay, over the years. But long before the science came in, we already knew pretty much some of the things that this herb was good for, especially when it came to relaxation, calming us down, or appetite and stuff like that, all right? So let's go through it. So the herb that we're talking about today, you guys, again, is marijuana, okay? That's the general name. Now, the botanical name of marijuana, depending on which strand you have, there are 3 different types of marijuana, and one of them is going to be called cannabis sativa. And that is going to be, you know, and we'll touch bases as we move forward, but that'll be the head high, okay? And then you're going to have cannabis indica, all right, and that's going to be the one that gives most of the body high, okay? And then you have a third one, which is called cannabis ruderalis, okay? Cannabis ruderalis. And basically all 3 of these are different in how they grow, how tall they get, how big they get, the locations and things of that nature. But also, like I said before, these are all different based on some of the components and the nutrients that they have in them, and we'll discuss that as we go further. Now, what is the biggest, most super effective thing that marijuana can provide to the body? All right, if you're suffering from anorexia, obviously we know that cannabis could add a little bit more oomph to your appetite to where you're able to eat. But what are some of the other uses of it, all right, as we continue to just understand marijuana? Before, we already knew that it was good for relaxation because of how it calms the body. Okay, now we understand that it's good for anorexia, but we kind of knew that because we already understood that it does have a uptick in appetite, all right? Makes you want to go eat or get the munchies, so to speak. But really, that's all going to depend on which one of these particular types of cannabis that you have in your possession. Depends on what kind of effect it will give the body, okay? Now, some of the other uses that you may not have known about marijuana and what it's good for as far as the medicinal properties. Way back when the ancient people used to use this, they used to use it for a whole lot of things, okay? And I'll get to how this particular herb works in our body and why this is such a magical and such an important herb, all right? It has been used for autoimmune disorders, cancers, diabetes, anxiety, migraines, fibromyalgia, irritable bowel syndrome, and that's just to name a few. You could still talk about aging. You could be talking about poor blood circulation. You could be talking about reproduction and helping the gonads or the ovaries. I mean, it's been used in a whole lot of instances, pain relieving, arthritis situations. This thing is very unique, man, and this is why I really wanted to talk about it. Now, why is it so magical? Because it has a lot of different actions to it. One of them is that sedative action, right? That allows one to relax, allows the muscles to relax, allow you to get over the stressors, okay, and you to calm down a little bit. So it has that sedative action to bring some relaxation and some calm back into the body. But again, like I said, it has been used, and we're talking about what CBD and all of this stuff is being used for right now. Then you're looking at the area of pain relief. Okay, pain relief is what the CBD is doing. And it's also been studied that it is also good for anti-cancer and anti-tumorous type of situations because it helps the proliferation of the cells. It has a lot to do with cell growth. Okay, and it kind of regulates those things and put those things back into perspective. So when you're talking about cancer, you're talking about an uncontrollable division of cells. Well, marijuana, or what that does is it brings homeostasis. It brings some balance back into that, so that these particular cell growth will start to having apoptosis, and they start to having that regular cell death cycle that they're supposed to go through. It starts initiating that, so then it inhibits the cell growth, right? Because it's allowing the cells to do what they're supposed to do, which is apoptosis. All right, so this is kind of why this is so great. Now, what are the nutrients that the herb has in it? It has what we call cannabinoids in it, and it also has terpenes. Okay, now these terpenes and these cannabinoids are the very special ingredients in there that actually allows our body to feel the way that it does under this particular plant's influence. Okay, now some of the cannabinoids that are in it is going to be THCA and CBDA. Now this is all of the acidic forms of THC. Okay, and the cannabidiol. All right, this is the acidic form. Now once you heat up marijuana or you set fire to it or something like that, it's called decarboxylation. Okay, decarboxylation, and what that does is once it gets that heat to it, it drops the acidic form, and then now you're dealing with straight THC and straight CBD or cannabidiol. All right, and so that's what you're dealing with. That's why it's important to kind of heat it up, whether it be in butter, in milk, in tea, or whether it be in a blunt or whatever, however you rolling papers, however you're doing it, in a pipe, a bong, however you're doing it. When you set heat to this thing, whether it be fire, low heat, or boiling or whatever, it takes the acidic form out, and then you get the pure form of THC and CBD. And these are the main cannabinoids in it. But again, you also have terpenes that are inside of a lot of the cannabis as well. And those are also going to be great for the body and help it get through what it needs to get through. Now, what is so special really about this particular plant? We have in our body a system that was discovered only about 30 years ago. Even though we've been utilizing this particular herb, whether it be legally or illegally, for thousands of years, only 30 years ago in our modern history did we know that this particular herb was so great, because it was interacting with a system in our body called the ENDO cannabinoid system. The endocannabinoid system. Now, you guys probably didn't know anything about this system, right? Now, I know back in the day where I come from, we used to call it ENDO, INDO. You know, if you got that ENDO, you smoking on that ENDO, or is it INDO? And we used to do little stuff like that, not really understanding what we're talking about. Endo means from within. We have a lot of endogenous, ENDO, GENOUS. We have a lot of endogenous things that go on within our bodies that only happen from within. Okay, so in retrospect, this is the body's ability to get high from within without having any outside sources of marijuana. Okay, why does this happen? Because this endocannabinoid system is actually the system that regulates all of the metabolic processes in the body. Now, in videos before, I kept telling you guys that metabolism and balancing out things is the ultimate understanding of why you get disease. Disease is simply your body being out of balance. Okay, that's just simply what disease is, and out of balance in somewhere, whether it be out of balance in your cells, out of balance in your tissues, out of balance in your organs, or out of balance in your organ systems. It basically just means out of balance or having a discomfort in an area. Okay, I call it congestion in an area, but it all means the same thing. So now this particular system here, it oversees the regulation of all these particular chemical and biological processes. So basically, where you have you may have a organ that oversees this particular metabolic process. Let's say we're talking about the pancreas, right? And we're talking about insulin, and then we're talking about glucagon, all right? And depending on which one you got, there's a balance. So if you got too much glucose in your body, then the pancreas sends out insulin to bring the glucose down. If you got too little glucose, right, then the pancreas, that same organ, will send out glucagon, all right? That glucagon will come out and then do what? Bring the level up. Bring the level up. So inside of the pancreas, you got some stuff to bring sugar down, and you got some stuff to bring sugar up. It works in perfect balance. It's the pancreas' job to do the balancing, but it's the endocannabinoid system to oversee the balancing and make sure that the pancreas got what it needs and got all the stuff that it needs. Otherwise, this particular system will compensate for the lack or the excess and make it all right. It'll pull from somewhere else to make it all right. This particular system is the system for homeostasis in the body. The endocannabinoid system is the ultimate system to make sure that your body is in homeostasis. Now, this particular system runs from the brain all the way through your body. It has receptors all over your body. These receptors are called CB1 and CB2 receptors, okay? You have more CB2 receptors in your body than CB1. Now, you also have what is called anandamide and TA, and I'm gonna try to write this out. So when we're talking about what is the high from within, this is what you had. Anandamide and what is called 2-AG, okay? This is the high off the own supply without having the marijuana. These are your inside endocannabinoids, okay? Now you have more 2-AG than you have of anandamide, okay? And anandamide is the one that we're really all looking for, but it's forever fleeting. And the reason why, because anandamide, you get it through your food. Like I said, you also already got it from within, but it breaks down very, very fast, okay? And because it has enzymes to it that breaks these down. I'm not gonna get into all of that, but they have two enzymes that actually break down the anandamide and also breaks down the 2-AG. Now, if you want to increase the anandamide, then what science is trying to do now is stop the expression of the enzymes so that this can last in the body long enough so that you don't have to go out and get any outside source, okay? But for right now, the enzymes do break these down pretty fast, so they're in and they're out. So that high doesn't last as long as it needs to last, but you still get this created within the body all the time. All the time. And when you're looking at it, these receptors are all over the place, you guys. So now when we're talking about why does marijuana pain relieve, because marijuana, when you get this cannabinoid, THC and CBD, they go straight into these receptors, CB1 and CB2. It's almost like a lock and key kind of mechanism. And so these are the locks, and THC and CBD are the keys. Okay, and they fit directly into the receptors, and that's why marijuana works so well within the body, you guys, because we already have that ability to receive it, and our bodies receive it with open arms. It's like, yes, thank you, finally we got something that we know about. And there's a lot of other herbs that do interact with our endocannabinoid system. There's a lot of different foods that do interact with our endocannabinoid system, so just don't get it twisted that it's all marijuana. You can get this stuff, and you can get a recycle of anandamides in your body through diet as well. Okay, so it's not, you don't have to smoke anything, and you don't have to take CBD, but we do want you to understand that your body is equipped for this stuff. It is equipped for it. Okay, now I don't know why they made it illegal, and I don't know why they didn't really tell us about the majesticness of this herbs, especially from a medicinal standpoint, seeing that we've been using this as medicine way before we started smoking it. So we already really knew some of these things and why this particular herb was so important, but it baffles me why we haven't been telling ourselves, and then we want to wait until the last 30 years to try to figure out, oh, this thing really is great because it interacts with the endocannabinoid system. So therefore we can break the weed down. Now we can start legalizing it, and now we can start extracting it and getting the CBD out of it and the THC out of it, and we can start healing people. See what I'm saying? But we don't have to wait. We didn't have to wait on modern medicine because ancient technology, they may not didn't have the science to prove it. They may not didn't have the scientific words to tell you about it, but they knew. And I want you guys to really understand that, because that's kind of who I am. I'm not your doctor. I'm not an herbalist. I'm not none of that. I'm an individual that is seeking cure, period, for myself, my family, and therefore I will share whatever it is that I'm finding out on that journey. Okay, because that's what you do when you are a true healer. It's not about selling a particular a product or service to you. You don't have to go take my course. I don't have one. All right, you don't have to go buy my herbs because you don't really need it. You see what I'm saying? You don't have to go and get this service or that service. If you know yourself and know thyself and know what's in you, then you'll know how to take care of you. Now, what is another great thing about marijuana and this herb? What are we talking about? THC. THC is the derivative that is in the cannabis that gives you the head high, cannabis sativa. It's going to be very much potent if you're dealing with cannabis sativa. How do you know you're smoking cannabis sativa or that you're having cannabis sativa? Because you feel very high in the head. Most people who have cannabis sativa can go to work on the weed. You can go play basketball, sports. You can create. You can focus better. Things are clarity, more clear to you. Because why? Because this is more of the head high, right? All right, now the CBD is more of the pain reliever, more of the body high. This is where you feel lethargic and you feel sleepy. You feel like you got the munchies and you ready to go to sleep, right? That's when that thing comes down on you, what we call being stoned or having a downer, right? That's cannabis indica, okay? And that's what's mostly going to be the CBD. All right, and that's going to be for the body. So not only does it relax the body, it's good for pain relieving, good for muscle relaxation. It is good for things like arthritis, fibromyalgia, irritable bowel syndrome, all those things. Why? Because it is relaxing those things in part of our body. Now, when we're talking about the endocannabinoid system, these receptors are everywhere in all those areas I just named, from your brain all the way down to the soles of your feet. You have these receptors. They're at every organ, at every nerve, they're every single place. So you will find that when people start to do the CBD, it is a whole body effect. It's a whole body effect. So after, 15, 20 minutes, you're able to do things that you weren't able to do anymore. They got plenty of research that tell you that when people are doing the CBD, that they're able to do things that they weren't able to do off prescription medication. Why? Because of this particular system, the endocannabinoid system. And because it's everywhere, when you take CBD or when you smoke THC, it goes through the whole doggone body. Now, this third one here is a lot less known, but it's out there, okay? And this one is kind of a combination of both of these. It have like a 50% a head high and 50% body high, which should be pretty good, okay? What are some of these examples? Cannabis sativa would probably be what they call sour diesel, all right? Cannabis indica would be what they call white rhino, if you guys have ever heard of that. Cannabis ruderalis would be something like your green gelato or your hazes, you know what I mean, or something like that. That's going to be your ruderalis, okay? So just so you guys could understand exactly what kinds is what and what they're going to do within the body, that's what you really need to understand. But I also wanted you to understand that, yes, this is a miracle herb, all right? And we need to learn different ways to do it. You don't have to just smoke it, because obviously if you're smoking it, yes, it still will get contact to the endocannabinoid system and it'll go everywhere it needs to go, but it still will affect the lungs. Any type of smoking will still affect the lungs in some kind of way, all right? So there are other ways that you can utilize the potency of this particular plant. You can put it in baking goods. Again, you can make you a marijuana butter out of it. You can believe it or not, this particular herb with milk is very potent. I don't know why, but it's more potent with milk than with anything else. You can also do a weed tea. That's what we usually do. You know me, that's what I'm going to be always trying to suggest you guys put it in tea form, all right? You put it in tea form, and then you could utilize a lot of the herb that you got, right? Because right now you can't put a stem in a rolling paper or a blunt, but you can put the stems, the seeds, whatever come with it, the shake, all of that, you can make you a tea out of it, right? And it would be medicinally good for you. Remember, when you put that heat on it, you take the acidic form out of it, and now you're just dealing with straight THC and CBD, depending on what strain you got. Just remember that if it's THC, it's going to give you more of that head high. So if you're not trying to feel high and be high, then you don't need to be doing anything that has a content of THC in it. You need to be more about the CBD. If you want it for relaxation, for stress, if you want it for any of your physical issues that's going on within your body, then the CBD is what you really need more of in the plant. Okay, you need that cannabidiol, all right, and you can get that. Remember that that particular herb is going to pretty much be this cannabis indica. All right, so when you're researching and you're looking for CBD, or when you're researching and you're looking for marijuana, look for what you need for the situation you got going on. If you're looking for a lot of mental clarity and a lot of more refocusing of the mental and refocusing of the mind, then you need the sativa. If you're looking for more of things that work within the body based on your medical issues and conditions, then you need indica. If you want a little of both, right, so that you can kind of meet it halfway and have something for the head and something for the body, then you need to look for hybrids out there that actually they are making strains out there that can do that for you, all right? Or you need to be looking at cannabis ruderalis or just other kinds of things, man. So this endocannabinoid system, I really want you guys to do more research on this particular system so that you can understand how it really helps the body metabolizes and do all these processes. When you're talking about you got biological processes and chemical processes that your body has to go through, that as soon as you breathe in air, it takes your body through a metabolic process, all right? Your body has to change that air over to useful energy for your cells. Soon as you drink something, as soon as you eat something, your body has to go through a metabolic process, all right, to break all of that stuff down catabolically into small particles that your cells could use for fuel, all right? And then on top of that, it will then use all of those small particles, all of those small pieces, and it will grow it into something bigger, and that's called the anabolic process, all right? But both of them are part of the metabolic process. One is breaking something down that you ate, taking it to a small size to the cells to use, and then the cells would then use that to grow muscle or to grow bone. You see that? Or to grow tissue in the body. And that's what we call anabolic, all right? Taking something from small and building it on up. And these are the processes that are throughout your body: sodium and potassium, blood to the, the blood and the water and the fluid, you know, that being in proper mix. You're talking about you know, you got all these different things, your calcium and your vitamin D. It's just so many different processes of balance that goes on within the body, you know, from the pituitary to the pineal, all the way down to the thyroid, you know, to your thymus. All of these things excrete out hormones, right? And these hormones come out and they go into these receptors, not necessarily these, but other receptors that are in the body. Okay, and then when it does that, it sends messages back to the brain, telling the brain what is the environment in the body. So you got all these receptors in the body, and basically these receptors that are in the body, again, this is going to be your CB2. Your CB2 receptors are all in your body. The CB1s are all in the brain. So the CB2s is basically taking temperature. It's like the thermostats. It's taking temperature of the environment, and then it tells CB1 what it needs. All right, look here, I need more sugar. I need more salt. I need more potassium. I need more calcium. I need more magnesium. I need more phosphorus. I need more iron. I need more zinc. I need more copper. So these CB2s, you can look at them as just thermostats. They're just taking temperature. They're trying to figure out what is the condition of the environment, okay? When they do that, then they send the messages back to the CB1. The CB1 let the hypothalamus know exactly what needs to happen. Not only does that happen to the endocannabinoid system, but it's also kind of what happened to the endocrine system. Okay, the endocrine system, which is another very important system when we're talking about our hormones. Okay, so you got a hormone system, and then you got this one right here who just sits on high from the brain standpoint and just looks down and say, okay, thyroid, make sure you doing your thing. Okay, thymus, make sure you doing your thing. Okay, all right. Gonads, make sure y'all doing y'all thing down there. All right. Now, it doesn't have anything to do with the kidneys or adrenaline, but at the same time, it still has a lot to do with the effects that we have in our bodies, especially when you're talking about a whole body effect. And that's why this is really, really important, because when we're talking about a whole body effect, from the mind all the way to the body, what can affect both of those things, the endocannabinoid system and cannabinoids from plants like marijuana can do just those things. All right, so I want you guys to understand the power of the plant, the power of the herb. Understand it, do your own research, figure out how this particular herb can help. If it can, add it to your medicinal cabinets, because it's going to be very beneficial and has been beneficial for thousands of years, and I don't see it changing. Matter of fact, I see this as being more of, you know, we're going to have to protect this plant moving forward. We're going to have to make sure that it is not over cultivated, over harvested. We got to make sure that we protect it now, because they realize the majesticness of it, and they're going to tear it to pieces if we don't protect it. If we don't protect it, they're going to tear it to pieces. So now you're getting information that this thing could really be very medicinally beneficial to you. You need to start using it properly. If you abuse this particular herb, let's say can you have too much cannabinoids? Yes. Remember that this is the homeostasis. All right. So when you put too much in it, then it's going to deregulate itself, because its whole job is to make sure everything is in balance. You can't put too much before it withdraw itself to make sure it's still even keel. Okay, so all you're going to do is allow it to deregulate itself. Okay, that's all you're going to do. All right, but too much of anything is bad. It don't matter what it is. Too much of anything is bad. But I wanted to be the first one. I don't see a lot of so-called herbalists, people out here that say they know plants, talking to you guys about a plant. You know, I don't see them really telling you guys about this herb, which is just another herb. but it's a majestic herb, just like holy basil, just like rhodiola, and just like a lot of the other herbs out here, but we just don't have enough information on it to understand. So I wanted to not only tell you about the plant, but I also wanted to tell you why it's so great because of this particular system here. Now you start doing your research on why this system is so great, then you can understand the two and what you need to do moving forward. Again, you don't have to use marijuana to initiate the endocannabinoid system. You already have anandamides and you already got 2-AG inside of your body. So things like cacao, apples, blackberries, all those types of things will refresh this anandamide for you and put some more back in your body, right? So you can have that head high. So you can get that head high. The 2-AG, they in there, they don't fade out like anandamide does. So they in there for the most part. So you're gonna be good with that. But with that anandamide, yeah, you're gonna have to keep replenishing due to the enzymes breaking these down. Due to the enzymes breaking them down, and when they break them down, we can get them out of our bodies very quickly through urination, sweating, defecation, all that type of stuff. So it leaves the body very quick once they broken down. All right. So even if you do something from the outside, this is only going to be for a hot minute, right? Because the enzymes gonna come, break the cannabinoids down. You're gonna pee it out, boo-boo it out. That's what happens. So it's not gonna last long. Now, if you do weed tea, you may end up being able to get a 4 to 8 hour effect. You know, but of course, if you're just doing, you know, blunts and, you know, smoking and stuff like that, it's gonna be very fleeting. All right, you know, it'll be there for about an hour or two and then it's gone. So the best way is the weed tea, you guys. All right. So I hope I explained this enough for you to kind of get the gist of this particular herb. It's a lot more information to it. I can create millions of other videos about the particular herb if I needed to, but I kind of wanted to get you guys to understand the gist of this plant, what it entails, what is effective for, what it's been used for, some of the great actions that's in it. And then I also want to tell you the greatest system that it's a part of that's making us really go and grow. And the more you know this, the more you appreciate a plant like this. And then also too, you'll understand the importance of balancing yourself. Being balanced in every area of life is going to be critical for us moving forward. And if we can just continue to understand that we're trying to play the balancing act, right? If we can just understand that life is basically here, right? That's where you want everything to be. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that's where you want everything to be. You want everything to be leveled, you guys. Okay? You want everything to be level. All right, when you're on that seesaw and you're this way, you're out of balance. If you're eating too much meat without vegetables, you out of balance. If you're eating too much starch without grains, you out of balance. If you're being too angry without happiness, you out of balance. If you've been too joyful without crying, you out of balance. Okay? You out of balance, and none of these things are good or bad. You should understand that expression is necessary. These energies are necessary, but you don't live in them. You have to have a proper balance. If you work 40 hours a week, you need to rest the same amount. Okay, balance. That's all this is about, is balance, and that's why I'm telling you that it's from within. All of this stuff that we're looking for, how to heal myself, how to get over this, how to do that. Y'all burning up YouTube. Y'all got so many people out here getting rich off YouTube because you're looking for outside influence on yourself, because you don't know yourself. And because you don't know yourself, you don't know that it's from within you. All of the stuff that you're looking for is within you. When you're reading a book, you're trying to be like the person who wrote the book. When you're looking at videos, you're copycatting that person, trying to be like that individual. But it is you that you need to be like. There's nobody like you. You're reading my book. You need to read your book, and your book lies on the inside of you. So we need to turn from within. That's what that ENDO means. Turn from within and start looking at all of the buttons in this spacesuit. Start pressing all of the buttons in this spacesuit, because no matter if you're 9 or you're 99, you're still here in a short period of time. So while you're here, Figure out what this thing does. You don't need to spend your little short time trying to be another McDonald's, another Burger King. You don't need to try to spend all your time trying to be another Doogie Howser, another Dr. Sabi. Be you. And tell the people the truth. The truth is not in products and services. It is in you. And I'm here to tell it. I'm your homie HerbMan. I love you guys, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Go tell somebody your homie HerbMan was on. And until next time, love HerbMan. Yo, good people. Welcome to the HerbMan Show.